Hi, I'm Vikram and welcome back to A Roll of Film. In this video, we will have a look at one of the old classic cameras, the Voigtlander Vito CLR. Before I start on the camera, I think it'd be nice if I could tell you a little bit about the Voigtlander company. So Voigtlander was founded in 1756 in Vienna, Australia, and they used to make mathematical instruments and precision mechanical products. And they are one of the oldest names in photography. The company is now headquartered in Germany, and they entered the camera market, or rather the photography market, with a lens, f3.6 lens in 1840. The company has a lot of firsts. They were the first ones to come up with a zoom lens for 35mm cameras, and they were the ones who came with the first 35mm camera with the built-in flash. Since 1999, Voigtlander is now manufactured under license by Cosina, a company in Japan, and they are very well known for the quality of their lenses. So now we'll get back to the Voigtlander Vito CLR. This camera was manufactured from 1965 for about 3 or 4 years, up to 1968 or early 70s, I'm not very sure. I just need to double check. It is a 35mm rangefinder camera with a fixed lens. The lens is a Voigtlander color Scopar lens, 2.8 50mm, and its minimum focusing distance is from 1 meter all the way up to infinity. Voigtlander lenses are extremely well known for their quality and for the color renderation, and the Scopar 50mm on the Voigtlander is a classic and an excellent lens. The aperture values start from 2.8. It's a 2.8 lens, and with a one-stop increase goes all the way to 22. So from f22 to f22.8 with the one-stop difference. That is the aperture control you get. The shutter speeds, you have a maximum shutter speed of 500 and reduces all the way to B, or bulb mode, where you can keep the shutter open as long as you want. And after that you have 15, 30, 60, 125, 250 and 500. So again, classic one-stop difference in the shutter speeds. It came in two models. One was the standard model and the other was the deluxe model. The one I have in my hand is a deluxe model. The differences basically are only in cosmetic. The deluxe model, as you can see, has a black leatherite body on the body and a little bit on the lens here. And also the shutter release button happens to be black to match the black leatherite. That is just the basic difference between the standard and the deluxe model which I have here. The Vito CLR has an external selenium cell light meter, which means that this light meter works without a battery. It is basically a solar powered light meter. So the advantage of this camera is that you have a camera with a light meter which doesn't need batteries. Everything else is purely mechanical. You have a display here on the top of the camera, and with two needles. So basically when both the needles match, you have the perfect exposure. And this can be controlled, of course, through the shutter speed as well as the aperture range. Another interesting thing about this camera is that on the focus ring, you have three icons: a dot, an inverted triangle, and a circle. So when you line up the dot to the center of to this icon here, this triangle here, the camera, this is known as the portrait mode, which basically means that the camera is focused at approximately 11 feet or 1.3 meters or so. If you line up the inverted triangle with this triangle, then you're at about 3.5 meters. And with the circle, we are at about 20 meters to infinity. So even if you have a problem using the rangefinder, you can always judge the distance of your subject with the help of these icons. I think this is extremely, very useful. You can pre-focus your camera and shoot. It's especially extremely useful for street photography. This is classic rangefinder in the middle, which means that it's not an SLR. You have a separate viewfinder here, and like all rangefinders, in the center you have a patch, and you have a split image there. And when the two images merge into one image, you have your focus. So a lot of people say that the advantage of a rangefinder is that when you put it to your face, you can keep one eye open so that you can see what is in your frame and what is out of your frame. But I find this, it's easier said than done. I find it very distracting. I rather close my left eye and just see through one eye, like you usually see in a SLR. Then coming to the other variations, you have here the film advance lever. Nice smooth flow here. And as you advance the lever, it also cocks the shutter. Here the shutter release. Nice sound. Rather odd place for the shutter release. Usually most conventional cameras will have it on the top. But it works. It's nice, it's fine. Once you get used to it, there's really nothing much to it. The top is beautiful. Very nice, plain, lovely rounded edges. You have your flash, and you have the cable sync here for the flash. The only problem with these light meters is that the cells wear out. So this is about 55 years old, and unfortunately, it doesn't work. These have a life of about 20 to 30 years, is what they say. And I use this camera a lot in the 1980s for about 10 years, from 1980 to about 1990. And gave me beautiful service, fantastic service. I had no problems at all whatsoever. Out here you have a small lever which releases this for when you wish to rewind your film. If you just press this lever, it releases this rewind thing comes up, and you use this to rewind it. On the side you have another two levers. You press the lever, you just bring it this thing, and which opens the ration, and then you can rewind your film. And at the bottom of the camera here, you have the small window which allows you to see how many exposures you have left. And yes, of course, for the ISO setting, ASA setting, as they used to call it in those days, is here. You just have to press this small lever here, and then you can adjust your ISO, ASA. In those days it was ASA. So you have both. You have the ASA setting and you have the German DIN setting, relative DIN setting. So depending upon your film, the type of film you bought, you could set it either according to your DIN or according to the ASA. And you have here a self timer, which you just small lever here, which you pull, and you can place your camera somewhere and go and stand, and it'll take about 10 minutes. You can hear the sound, buzzing sound. There it is. So all in all, a lovely camera, fantastic. The colors are beautiful. The lens is extremely sharp, and unfortunately, this camera of mine now has belonged to my grandfather, and gave me a lot of good service. I'd rather call it classic rather than vintage, because it's as old as me. Would like to be called vintage myself. And well, the light meter is not working, but that's not a problem. Everything else seems to be fine. The shutter is working, the apertures are great. A little bit of fungus on the lens. I've had it cleaned, but there's still a little bit of clouding. But still, you know what? I'm going to take this out, load up a roll of film, take it for a spin, shoot some shots, and share it with you. So I hope you found this video interesting. And if you do, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Well, I'll see you next week or sometime later with my next review. Thank you.